Hello, hey, and welcome to Conference Cons, a series where I will be looking at some conferences and be reviewing them and saying the pros and the cons. So, I'd like to welcome you. This might not be a series, but this is definitely going to be the first episode of what might be a series. And we're going to be talking about WWDC 2017. But before I actually review and say the pros and cons of the conference, I'm going to quickly say what WWDC actually is and what it's about. WWDC stands for Worldwide Developer Conference. This is Apple's annual conference, which originally started in 2002, and as of today, it is the 7th of June, and in 2017, the conference is lasting from the 5th to the 9th, which ends, so Friday, it will officially end. That's a really quick summary, but lots of developers for apps and programs will go to that conference, be invited, and see the shows and the conferences and keynotes and all that. But this year they unveiled a lot of things, and they usually unveil things every year, such as the new iOS, new macOS, new devices. This year we got a lot, some that we didn't even expect in the first place, or that we heard of, but we didn't expect to be announced here at WWDC 2017. So it was definitely an interesting year, and we got to see a lot of new things. And I'm gonna quickly go through you there, but I wanna ask one quick thing. Recently, a lot of rumor sites have been saying how this year we're gonna have the S7, S7 Plus, and the iPhone 8. The thing I don't understand is that usually you have the 5S, 4S, and the S standing for speed, security, and whatever they say it is. But this year the rumors have been saying we're gonna get 7S, 7S Plus, and an iPhone 8. Now I'm no Apple fanboy. It's a bit out of touch. So I'm going to start off with the pros, which is good things of the conference, and right out the bat I'm going to say I really like the beginning video, where it was this kind of apocalypse scene, where you had things like, iTunes and Reddit being these, weird market kind of stores, where the whole video is based on if the internet went down. And if you haven't seen it, I do recommend give it a look. It's very funny and cool video, and the music's nice as well. I'd be lying if I said I've been listening to it. After that, we had some mention of some young and old developers, which I thought was a really small part of the conference, but still really cool. But then they actually started talking about the operating systems, starting with watchOS. watchOS, they mentioned personal activity notifications, so you'd be running, you'd get a notification saying go for longer, or you got this, or you haven't been running today, maybe run some more, or just run at all. I thought that would have already been on there. I know Samsung, I think, has something similar, but still to finally bring it in watchOS 4, which is coming out this fall, I still think that's a pretty cool feature, although a bit late as well. Next up, we had a little tvOS update. This is like a meh, where it's not really a pro or a con. I mean, it's a pro for someone who has tvOS, but a con because I think they should have had it. But the big update was Amazon Prime's coming to Apple TV, which I already thought would have been on there. So yeah, I was a bit surprised that I honestly thought Amazon Prime Video would have already been on there, but apparently not. So next up, we got a lot of talk actually of VR. A bit surprised they didn't actually unveil any VR goggles. And ILM actually came up stage, and we got Darth Vader and lightsabers and just really pretty cool Star Wars stuff. If you're a big Star Wars fan, that was a really cool part of the conference itself. But moving on to the actual devices, we got Craig Federighi to come up, talk about macOS, and with macOS we have the new update this year, High Sierra. It's an okay name, but we're gonna get a lot of, there already was a lot of weed jokes.
This name is fully baked. So,
and next year we might even get macOS weed, which would be pretty funny. With High Sierra, there's been some updates to Safari with autoplay blocking, changing from H.264 to H.265, and external GPUs as well for the MacBook, and tons of stuff. but that's actually going to the MacBook side and the iMac side, which a lot was unveiled. Speaking with iMacs, they upgraded them with new Kaby Lake processors, and they finally unveiled something pretty special, which was the iMac Pro. A lot of people did enjoy the Mac Pro, but didn't think it was kind of top of the line or could have been better by Apple. So this year they went out a lot. They just went all out with this really big Xeon processor. Some notes here talking about it, but we got it's an all-in-one PC, and we have 8-core, 10-core, and 18-core Xeon processor with a great GPU, up to 4 terabyte SSD, and ECC memory. Like I said, the base model is $5,000. That's with the 8-core Xeon processor. But this isn't supposed to be cheap, and this is for people who are really need things like this. I'm talking people in the movie business who will be rendering CGI footage or editing, or just a lot of powerful programs that a computer like this will be able to definitely handle. But that was a pretty cool thing to unveil, except it's coming very late in the year, in December. But still, to actually show it and kind of out the blue, no rumor sites I saw were talking about it, so that was a pretty cool unveiling there. Caught me by surprise as well. So with the iMac, we also got the Kaby Lake processor updates, and this is the same with the MacBooks. This is on all models, plus the MacBook, not the MacBook Air. They said there'd be some speed update. I think it's just a bit better processor, but I wouldn't know 100% sure. But with High Sierra, macOS High Sierra, they did mention that the beta is starting late June, and the full release will be in fall, with watchOS and actually iOS 11, but I'll get onto that later. So with MacBook, it's shipping today. It's pretty good, and we got, of course, look at the Mac Pro. But let me talk about iOS 11 again hosted by Mr. Air Force One himself, Craig Federighi.
And I'd like to invite Craig back to take you through it. Craig. Thank you, Tim.
Who went up, talked about a lot of things. We have Apple Pay person to person. We have messages. We like stickers added to messages. We have messages in the iCloud now, similar to how we have WhatsApp backup. This is going to be kind of similar to that, but also you can access all your messages from different devices, such as an iMac, MacBook, iPad, all those good things. Also, again, H.265 or HEVC for video, and upgrades to the control center, a special upgrade for the new iPad, which I'm now going to quickly talk about. But I'm not a massive iPad fan, but the big changes I saw was 10.5-inch display and then some special things with iOS 11. But I'm not really a big fan of the iPads. I don't see a purpose for them myself. I have a PC. I like a laptop. But yeah, kind of tablets, I'm not sure. But probably the coolest thing I saw was 120 Hertz refresh rate, which is pretty cool. And it actually is dynamic, so you could be watching a movie and you change to 48, or you could change to 24 with just you looking at photos or just browsing on the internet. So that was a really cool feature of the iPad Pro. So quickly finishing up with the pros, it was just, I like the devices, I like the software updates, I like also the AR, VR, talking, Wingnut VR, which was Peter Jackson's new project, which is really cool.
Oh, I guess that takes care of that guy.
Siri also changed for the better, in my opinion.
Here's the forecast for the next 10 days. Sunny, sunny, and sunny.
3 different ways to say sunny. Very powerful. Now,
the App Store's also changed, but just a lot of software device updates as well. And there's a big product I haven't mentioned, and that's actually going to be in the cons, which I'm going to now. So this show is called Conference Cons, and I think there were quite a few pros this year, but the cons really did put the show down. So I'm going to start off saying the show did actually start late. 8 minutes late, not a big deal, but still, gotta say it. tvOS, the only thing they really did mention was Amazon Prime being added. Not sure if that was really necessary, but I guess they had the time to say it, so they just said it then and there. Mention of the AirPods. I'm not hating on the AirPods, but I think they're just overpriced, and they sound as good or even slightly worse due to the volume as just the ones you get in the box. But there was quite a bit mentions on that. So one I didn't really like, and I still don't even know. At the conference itself, they did say there was going to be an update for the MacBook Air, but then they never ever said what it was. I still don't know now. I think it might be KB Lake, but even then, I mean, the MacBook Air is great and all, but it is a bit dated, so they should just update it. But they did make the MacBook Pro cheaper, so yeah. And the thing I was most kind of dulled with, I saw it and I was a bit like, wow, that was a waste of a couple years, in my opinion. And that's the HomePod actually, which I expected much more of. Really, they were saying how we have smart speakers like the Amazon Alexa, which I'd like to mention is the only one they mentioned.
Others have worked to make smart speakers that you can talk to. They don't sound so great when you listen to music.
And home speakers, such as Sonos speakers, they weren't going to mention Beats. They own Beats. They don't want to speak bad about their own product. But for a speaker that, fair enough, might sound good, that's priced $349, and you know, hasn't even got a screen, which Apple said they, screens are the future on smart speakers, and this one, made by the company, said that doesn't even have a screen and has the potential for a screen, and instead just has the Siri waveform. It's just a bit, like, the sound might be better than an Amazon Alexa, than an Echo, than an Amazon Echo. But they didn't mention the Google Home, and I've got one, and the sound quality on that is really good. And you can hook that up to a lot of Google Homes in your house, same as this. But you buy two of those, which, in pounds is priced $129, I believe. Still, it'd be the same, if not cheaper, or with Apple's terrible Brexit prices, most likely cheaper than this. I don't see how it's going to succeed in the market. I don't see how it's going to show better value, which it doesn't, better sound, possibly, and better technology, not really. They did update Siri, but I'm not sure if she's fit to do as much things as, Alexa and Google can currently do, but we'll just have to wait and see, really. But when I saw this, I think the conference did really, really go down for me. And it just wasn't as good as it could have been. Because just a bit, okay. Nothing special. But yeah, that's really the end of WWDC. It's still going on as I speak, really. But in the end, if I had to score the conference, I'd have to give it a 6, a 7 out of 10. A 7 out of 10. I love that the iMac and the MacBook are cheaper. I love it so much because I've been in the market for a MacBook Pro, and finally they're cheaper. But also, I like iOS 11, I like the software updates, but things like watchOS and tvOS, they should have already been there, the updates that are coming, and the HomePod just really let it down for me. And, they didn't really mention much. If you're a big Apple fan, you require a big, powerful computer, such as the Mac Pro. This might have been a much better conference for you, but I'm really not that happy, and especially with the HomePod, I think it just ruined it in the end. Really, really did ruin it for me. And I know for a lot of people, that price isn't good, when you can get a Google Home for £129, and it'll be way better. in my opinion. But yeah, that's my final score, 7 out of 10. Thank you very much for watching the first episode. Who knows, I might create more of these. E3 is coming up very soon, and I'm very excited for E3 to see a lot of gaming companies, what they're going to bring to the table, especially one of my favorites, Nintendo. But that's another subject for another time. It's been your host, Victor Chick, and thank you for watching.